So this is Rupert here. He's now a 2-year-old, and I haven't done very much with Rupert at all, and have decided I'm going to do quite a bit of clicker training with him. And so I'm going to talk about the start of the clicker training, and I'm also going to talk about the principles of training involved in those. So it doesn't matter what sort of training you use, those principles will apply. And how all clicker training starts. So think about, I've talked about this before, but think about the principle of make the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy. Everybody seems to think it's about making the wrong thing punished. You know, make the wrong thing hard means punish them when they do the wrong thing. But what it really means is make the wrong thing difficult to do. Now, when you start working with treats with a horse, one of the things they're going to do is get pushy with you until you teach them not to, okay? And so how clicker training starts out is in what they call protected contact. So they are behind a fence. So it'd be hard for them to run into you. It would be hard for them to push you. It would be hard for them to mug you for treats because there's a fence there. It is not let them mug you for treats and then whack them between the eyes with a stick. That's not how wrong thing hard, right thing easy works, okay? And the right thing would be to not push into me. And it's very easy for him to not push into me when he's on the other side of the fence, okay? So that's one of the principles, make the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy. Another one of the principles is they need to know the answer before you ask the question. And a lot of people say, well, how do you teach a horse to do something who doesn't know anything if they need to know the answer before you ask the question? Well, one of the ways you do that is you ask questions that they will innately answer. So one of the earlier on things you're going to do with clicker training is teach a horse how to touch a target, okay? And so the process would be, I would put this target through the fence, and a horse's innate curiosity, you stick something like this out at, say, eye level, they're going to go, what's that? And they're going to look at it and they're going to sniff it. That's the first thing they're going to do. They're going to sniff it. Just like I'm always talking about when horses come up to you and put their nose on you to engage with them, because they're curious. They're not trying to bite you. They're engaging with you. So I've never done this with him before. So that's how I would start there. And what you would do is you would present the target, and they already know the answer to this because they have innate curiosity and they touch things with their nose to check them out, okay? I've never done it, so let's see what happens. If I put this in here, like that, boom, right there, his nose touched it, okay? That is, they need to know the answer before you ask the question. I know he knows the answer to that because he's a horse. And unless a horse is shut down and kind of blocking out their surroundings, they are going to do that. Just put your finger down so not in front of that lens there. There's that part of they need to know the answer before you ask the question. But the other part is, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. What I'm going to do is present this, what you do is present the target. When they touch it with their nose, you make a distinctive sound. And they call it clicker training because they usually click. I make a noise like, okay? And when you do that, then you give him a treat, okay? But he's never been hand-fed anything. So I don't know if he'll take a treat from my hand. So before I start the clicker training, I know that bit works, okay? That's good. I know that part works. What I want to know is, will he take a treat from my hand? Hey, Rupie, how's it going? So he comes over here. Now, this is a very sweet-smelling thing. Oh, okay, we're good. Okay, so he does that. That's the first time he's ever been hand-fed anything. But I'm starting out with, these are some horse cookies we got at the local tack store, and they're called German horse muffins, and they smell like molasses. And so, you know, if it was something that didn't have a lot of smell to it or wasn't terribly appealing, I might not start with that. So these are probably pretty calorie high, probably sugar high too. So I'm not going to, once I get going, I'm not going to continue with these. What I'd probably do is some sort of pellets or little wisps of alfalfa hay, whatever. But to start this out, I'm going to do it with this. So there's 3 principles already. Make the wrong thing hard, the right thing easy. Actually, 2 principles. Make the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy. That's our setup. And another part of our setup, I'm up here on the back of our truck here. Just pan down so we can see that. So I'm just down the back of my truck. Because Bodie over there, you can see young Bodie over there, he's sorry, I'm going to back up even more. I put this pen inside here because Rupert lives in here with Bodie. And they don't know much and they're kind of buddied up. So I don't think, and I've just weaned Bodhi. So taking Rupert out of there to somewhere else to put him in a pen to teach him to clicker train would actually be problematic for Bodhi, because he might be missing his friend, and now we're causing stress there. So I put the pen in where they live. The reason I'm not in there doing it through the fence where I normally would be is because it would be hard for me to pay attention to Rupert and Bodhi at the same time, and Bodhi's going to come over and engage with me, so I've elected to be out here. Does that make sense? There's a lot of setup has gone on to make this work well. So now we're going to do the very, very first clicker training. So, did you see the mistake I just made right then? For you clicker trainers who are really good at it, you'll notice I just reached into my treat pouch, okay? If you do that first, then present this, then click, then treat, they start to watch this hand instead of the target. It's all about the target. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this target over here. And because he's a horse, he's going to come over, he's going to go. As soon as he touches it with his nose, I'll take it away, reach in my treat pouch, and then give him a treat. Okay? That's step one. Now, I actually put it over here and he moved his feet. And it was just for the camera. Now you see right now, this is where the fence helps you. See, he's trying to get to me. So what I'm going to do is put the target over here. And then I'm going to give him the treat where the target was. What I don't want him to do is reach through the fence for the treat. Okay, put the target over here. He touches that. I'm going to reach through here. And if you notice right then, I pushed the treat back under his chin. So I almost had him rock backwards. I'm going to put it here. Watch what his feet do here. He's just stepped forward. I'm going to put the treat under here. And right there, he took a step backwards in order to get it. Okay, and that's basically the start of the whole thing. I'm not going to video forever here, but that's the start of the whole thing. But there are a couple of the principles of training involved in this. I'm going to go over them again. Make the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy. Put him in protective custody. Anytime you've got a horse that is protected contact, not protected custody. Anytime you've got a horse that's pushy, I always recommend people work with them through a fence. So they can't push you around. You don't have to be defensive. You don't have to crack them over the head or anything like that. Okay, so there was make the wrong thing hard, the right thing easy. Then there's they need to know the answer before you ask the question. A horse's curiosity, if they're not shut down, they'll always touch something with their nose, okay, when you present it. And the other one was I had to make sure he would take treats out of my hand. And so I got both of those working, and I'll continue on with this here in a minute, but I just wanted to talk about the fact I'm going to start clicker training him, and I'm also going to talk about the fact that even though it is positive reinforcement training, the same principles still apply.